Welcome to the Crown Jewel live preview panel show. Wow, we've got someone in chat already. Fairy Banger.
My buddy Fairy
001 says yo, and yo to you as well. I am Jimmy Barnes, obviously, and I'm joined today by my illustrious co-panelists. We have got Rach Capper. Hiya, Rach.
Hiya.
How you doing? You all right?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you.
Good. And we welcome back. She's been absent for a couple, but it's great to have Vicky the Night Owl back. Hello, Vicky. Good evening.
Hello.
How are you, Vicky? You all right?
Much better.
Good. It's great to have you back on the panel. We've missed you the last couple.
No, I missed you guys, so I'm glad to be back.
Now, conspicuous by his absence is Jason Clow, not suitable for Mum. I think he's out celebrating a friend's birthday tonight, so we couldn't really complain about that. Jason, as has Vicky had to do for the last couple of WWE pay-per-views, he will be submitting his predictions hopefully before the pay-per-view starts tomorrow. Well, it's sort of early evening for us, and it's sort of early afternoon in the zone. So, yeah, Crown Jewel is tomorrow. We will talk a tiny bit about Hell in a Cell first. Hell in a Cell. Rach, did you? I'm pretty certain you watched it. What did you reckon to it?
I thought it was a good pay-per-view until that ended. Which I didn't even know a referee could stop the match when it's a Hell in a Cell match.
Ridiculous, isn't it?
Was a bit confusing, but yeah, I didn't like the ending of it.
Oh, the ending was an absolute shit show, weren't it? If you pardon my language, yeah. Vicky, did you see Hell in a Cell? And if so, what did you reckon?
I did, and I agree with Rach on that. The ending of it was complete, to sound okay, BS. It was. I agreed. Like, I didn't think they could stop the match like that when it's a no holds barred match. It's a Hell in the Cell match. Anything goes. And I mean, how many times have we seen Triple H pull out a sledgehammer, and they've never ended a match when it's no holds barred and stuff like that. So why they ended it, I don't know.
Well, yeah, it was just. I mean, all the things that were happening in that match, and as you say, in previous Hell in a Cell matches, and for it to end via referee stoppage.
Yeah.
I mean, there was that daft bit where, like, I think Seth Rollins had used a smaller sledgehammer, like a sort of realistic, proper sledgehammer, and the match wasn't thrown out. But then, as soon as this whopping great cartoon sledgehammer came out, oh no, that's crossed the line.
Yeah.
That just looked more sort of cartoony and silly to me more than anything else. Then is in the chat. Hello, Glenn, Geeky Heathen. Thank you for coming in and saying hello to us. Hope you're well, mate. So yeah, Hell in a Cell. I think the women's Hell in a Cell match, the title match, I think that was pretty good. That was a very good match, actually. It's a shame, really, that wasn't the one closing the show, and then we could have. Well, I say if the Universal title match had opened the show, can you imagine how dead the crowd would have been for the rest of the evening if that had been the first match of the night? That would have been. Yeah, that wouldn't have been good, actually. So, yeah, maybe if they had to book that Rollins Fiend match like that, then that's probably, that's probably the best thing they did to have it on right at the end. Even though we got to hear a lot of nice AEW chants and everything, that was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Right, I'm just getting up the prediction results for Hell in a Cell. We obviously, of course, all predicted each match, as we always do every month or every time there's a pay-per-view. If I can find them, if I can be competent about it. Right, so Hell in a Cell, according to Jason, who is our official statistician, I got 3 out of however many matches there was. Rach got 3. Jason got 3. But the winner for the Hell in a Cell predictions was Vicky the Night Owl with 5. Wow, well done, Vicky.
Yay! I won one. No.
Is that the first one you've won this year?
Yep. Rach
Rach
usually beats me out.
Well, I have got an update for the overall leaderboard, and it's pretty close. I still think it could technically be anyone's. I think in 4th place, Vicky, that's you with 5.75. Then in 3rd place, Jason, not suitable for Mum, with 5.9. I'm in 2nd place on 6.1, and Rach is currently our overall leaderboard leader on 6.4. So I don't know if to me it looks like it's still possible, depending on how results go, for anyone to win it at the end of the year. But it looks very close to me, so that makes it nice and exciting. It's not like sort of Rach is out there on sort of 10 or 12, and the rest of us are all down on like 0. Yeah, you finally managed to catch one of our live streams, Geeky Heathen. Thank you so much for joining us, mate. I know I did some sort of wrestling for. It's not meant to sound offensive, but like wrestling for dummies style videos. That was actually Glenn's idea for me to do, and I did like a sort of little mini series of 3 videos, and I know Glenn enjoyed them, and Big Inzy, Rich, he enjoyed him so much he actually signed the network, and he looked at a lot of the recommendations that I made. It's like it's weird to me. No one normally takes what I say that seriously.
Surprise!
I was surprised. So yeah, great to see Geeky Heathen, one of the squad of champions inside the chat. Hopefully, we'll have some more people joining us in due course, and also people can watch on the replay if they so wish. Right, I think what we ought to do now is just crack on with the Crown Jewel predictions. Crown Jewel, of course, is from Saudi Arabia. This will be the 4th Saudi Arabian pay-per-view, I think, won't it?
Yeah, it's the 4th one.
So yeah, Crown Jewel. It's not got a very long history. I still remember the main event of last year's Crown Jewel. That still gives me nightmares. Yeah, that was.
You're not alone on that one, I'll tell you.
Oh dear, it was almost sad to see it, really. Yeah, and then of course earlier in the year for the what was the last Saudi show called? I've forgotten what it was called now.
Oh,
Rumble?
No, that was the first one from last year, weren't it? Greatest one. Was the last one weren't called Crown Jewel as well, was it? I can get it.
Yeah, I think so.
It might have been, actually.
I think that's just any of the Saudi Arabia ones from now on are going to be called Crown Jewel just because of who's funding it, really.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just quickly looking up about the last show. It was only like 6 months ago, was it? Something like that.
Yeah.
Pay-per-view events. Super Showdown, that was what it was called. Yeah. Yeah, see, it was Super Showdown. Not that it matters, really, but that was another... God, that Undertaker-Goldberg match, that was pretty...
yeah.
appalling, but... anyway, Rachel's left us for temporarily. She must have had to tend to something, so I will just waffle. Oh, no, she's coming back now, so I don't need to waffle too much for...
Sorry.
Right.
We like your waffling, though, Jim, so we're good.
What you're saying.
See, this is where I actually, and don't tell him I said it, but I actually miss Jason because he's sort of like the king at waffling. Like I just let him say whatever he wants and take up like half an hour with it if he was here. Anyway, Crown Jewel tomorrow. tomorrow afternoon / early evening, depending on where you are in the world. The matches, we will run through them one by one. I think they've announced what seems to be a full card. Whether anything else gets announced on the day, we'll have to wait and see. We'll predict what we know. So the first match that I've got listed here is the pre-show match. It is a 20-man battle royal. The winner of this battle royal will face AJ Styles on the pay-per-view portion of the card for the United States title. Right, I'm going to run these. I'll try not to go too fast because we've got to pick winners out of all 20 of these, and that's going to be difficult enough. But the participants that I've got noted down here are Sunil Singh, Mojo Rawley, Eric Rowan, R-Truth, Sin Cara, the Brian Kendrick, Titus O'Neil, Tony Nese, Akira Tozawa, Shelton Benjamin, Apollo Crews, Buddy Murphy, Andrade, Drake Maverick, Eric Young, Luke Harper, Cedric Alexander, Heath Slater, Humberto Carrillo, and No Way Jose. And I don't think I've missed any out from that list. That seems to be the official list. There may be more people added, sort of, surprise entrance or whatever. I wouldn't have thought it would be sort of any massive surprises, as it's a fairly unimportant number one contenders battle royal. But anyway, we need to pick a winner if we can from this. Rach, what do you reckon to this pre-show battle royal?
It's great that someone gets a shot at AJ. But I can't see him beating AJ, not with the OCs in his corner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I mean, I don't think any of the names in the battle royal really jump out as kind of, oh yeah, they could be. I mean, there's some guys I like in there, but it's a case of sort of, are they going to pick one who you actually would say, yeah, that's going to be the next US champion, or are they just going to pick someone who's just going to sort of do a job to Styles later on in the night? So.
Yeah.
I think I can't pronounce his name, but he was on Raw. He kind of looks like the Power Ranger.
Oh, Sin Cara?
No, Humberto.
Oh, Humberto.
Oh, Humberto.
Carrillo. Right. Right. You're predicting Humberto Carrillo to win this battle royal. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Right. So that's one Humberto Carrillo. Are you making a note of these, by the way, Rach?
Yeah.
Brilliant. Thank you for that. Vicky, Rach has gone with Humberto Carrillo. There's 19 others here. I can list them again if you want.
Nah, it's okay. You know what? A lot of them are almost seeming like the ones that are coming up from NXT, and because they're shutting down 205 Live, a lot of those guys, I think this is who they are, trying to find out where they're going to be placed and whatever. And I think we all know Titus O'Neil is going to end up under the ring again, so it's not going to be him. But I really like.
Deliberate, doesn't it? Yeah. He's doing it on purpose.
I thought that was the best. You have to admit that was the most epic fail of all time, but it just looked so planned. It wasn't funny. But I do like Humberto. Actually, every time I hear his name, I think Alberto Del Rio. So, but Humberto, between him and Apollo Crews, I think are the best up and coming that I've seen in a long time. Besides Sin Cara and all of them as well. But I'm gonna say I'm gonna go with Humberto as well, because he has been on Raw a lot, and they're really trying to promote him. So I think this could be something for him.
Yeah. So we've got 2 for Humberto Carrillo. So right, and you know what? He was my pick for a long time, but I was kind of leaning away from him. like more, sort of today when I was thinking about it. Yeah, Carrillo has sort of interacted a little bit with Styles and the OC on Raw. Not that I've seen it, but just from what I've been reading. Just to be a bit different, I'm gonna go with the other guy who I was sort of thinking might get a shot. I'm gonna say Shelton Benjamin to win.
Okay.
I can see Carrillo getting a US title shot against Styles down the line. Probably not at Survivor Series, but maybe at some point after that, maybe TLC, assuming Styles is still the champion. But we'll have to wait and see. But I'm gonna pick Shelton Benjamin. I'll be interested to know what Jason picks for this, but we will find that out hopefully well before this time tomorrow. Right, we might as well do the actual US title match prediction now. I think.
Okay.
I think, Ray, if that's all right.
Yeah, that's fine.
This whole, so it's going to be AJ Styles versus question mark. So Rach and Vicky obviously think it's going to be AJ Styles defending his US title against Humberto Carrillo. I think it's going to be AJ Styles defending against Shelton Benjamin. So I don't think we need to be too long analysing this match, and we don't know 50% of the people involved in it. But Rach, we do still need a prediction.
Well, I don't think he's going to win, but I think they're going to be outside of interference from the OC. But I think AJ's going to retain.
Rach says AJ to retain. Okay. Vicky, you also picked Humberto Carrillo. Do you think Humberto Carrillo could actually win the US title in Saudi Arabia, or do you think Styles is going to, well, either by fair means or foul, walk out of Saudi Arabia as champion still?
Well, as much as I would love to see Humberto win it from AJ, I mean, I do agree that the OC, we both know, like we all know that they're going to get involved. There's no question about it, just especially the way things have gone the past two Monday Night Raws with the Street Profits and with Humberto and how they're trying to intimidate everybody and run Raw and whatever. I think even the Street Profits, if the OC gets involved, they could come out and get involved as well. So, I mean, I think that could be it, and it could cause maybe an interference. But I think either way, whether he leaves due to disqualification to something or leaves due to actually winning, I still think, unfortunately, AJ's going to win it.
Okay, we've got 2 for AJ. So, yeah, Shelton. I mean, I picked Shelton Benjamin. It's kind of drawing a name out of the hat a little bit for me, but I'd kind of narrowed it down to him and Carrillo, and just to sort of make things a little more interesting. Probably the wrong time for me to be sort of being a little bit cavalier when we're coming to the end of election season, and it's important that we all try and predict as sensibly as possible. But I just wanted to be different. And Shelton Benjamin, since he came back to WWE, he's not had an awful lot to do, but something like Crown Jewel, where a lot of sort of your ongoing storylines you tend to get ignored a little bit for whatever reason. I could see someone like him, a veteran, a reliable hand, sort of getting this opportunity on the actual pay-per-view. He's a former US champion, Shelton Benjamin, former Intercontinental champion. But I think, like you and Rach, I can't see him. I can't see AJ losing the title in Saudi Arabia. I think it's going to be a good night for the baby faces ultimately. At Crown Jewel, but I think one heel who should win or walk out of this title will be AJ Styles. So I'm gonna say AJ Styles defeats Shelton / Humberto / somebody else. So, just as a disclaimer for anyone, because it might be a bit of it was confusing for us really, but with our prediction is, there's a separate prediction for whoever is the Battle Royal winner. So hopefully at least one of us will get a point from that, or maybe probably none of us will, because there's like 20 names in there.
Yeah.
And then the US title match, we've all predicted AJ Styles. So if AJ wins, we all get 1 point. However, say if Jason predicts the challenger, whoever he thinks the challenger is, and even if he incorrectly predicted the challenger in the Battle Royal, if he predicts the challenger to win the US title, then he will get the point. That's clear. It's almost clear in my own head, so it's probably not clear for anyone else at all. But yeah, but it's mainly that's just some sort of admin for us to sort out privately, really. So I thought I'd address it in the stream, especially if Jason wants to watch any of this back when he can. Right, Rach, which match do you want to predict next?
Well, I've got the Universal title match, but we can save that until the end if you want. Or
Yeah, we'll do that we'll do sort of the bigger, like the world title matches and the bigger stuff near the end.
okay.
Yeah.
Well, next match after that, the tag team for the World Cup match.
Right. Okay. Yeah, this is a World Cup match and it's it says 9 teams there. Tag team turmoil. I'll run these competitors down for you. Tag team turmoil, for those who aren't sure. We haven't seen one in quite a while. It used to be fairly popular in the Attitude Era, tag team turmoil. It's kind of like a gauntlet match. 2 teams start out, one gets eliminated, and the next team comes in, and whichever one of them gets eliminated, then the next team comes. It keeps going until all 8, 9, or whatever teams it is have competed, and then the last team standing is the winner. So in this tag team turmoil World Cup match, the ones that are listed here are Biggie and Kofi Kingston of the New Day, the Viking Raiders, Heavy Machinery, Lucha House Party. So that's going to be 2 from Lindsay Dorado, Gran Metalik, or Callisto, 2 of those. And there's also Kurt Hawkins and Zack Ryder, the Revival, the OC, Dolph Ziggler and Robert Roode, and team. So there we are. And there's no Raw or SmackDown Championship at stake in this match. This is for the prestige of the WWE World Cup, which, as we know, was a phenomenal tournament last year. And I'm just being really sarcastic there. It was stupid. That was that thing Shane McMahon fixed, wasn't it? Viking Raiders. That could be a very wide prediction there, Glenn, actually. But let's see what Rachel's got to say about the World Cup Tag Team Turmoil match.
There's some great teams, but why is it for this silly World Cup? I don't know.
Yeah.
But I think I quite like to see Heavy Machinery to win it. To win this match.
Is that your prediction, or is that just like sort of
No, that's my prediction. Heavy Machinery.
Okay. Heavy Machinery, right? Fair enough. That's Rachel's prediction. And there's 9 teams in this, Vicky. So there's a lot to choose from. It's difficult to sort of make a solid prediction when there's a match with so many competitors in. But Vicky, what do you reckon to this one?
I'm actually going to agree with Glenn on that one. I think the Viking Raiders are going to pull it off. I really they've changed who they are so many times. But I think as the Viking Raiders, they've really made a huge impact in the tag team division. So I think they're going to pull it off this time. I mean, there's so many, like you said, there's so many great tag teams like Zack Ryder and, like all of these guys are just awesome tag teams. But I really do. Yeah, that's my prediction is Viking Raiders for this one.
Okay. So that's Viking Raiders from the Night Owl. When I was hearing about this match sort of been made. I was thinking, well, where the AOP? I don't know if they called Authors of Pain anymore, just AOP. Because I know they haven't been. I know they haven't been around because of injury, but I was led to believe that they were due to be back on TV at any time now.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering if they could do like a surprise entry into this match, like possibly right at the end. Yeah, but I'm not going to pick them because it's not been officially announced, and it'd be really reckless of me to pick a team that, for all I know, aren't even in Saudi Arabia right now. So, but I could well see that something like that happening. If that happens, then you heard it here first.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Viking Raiders, they're undefeated on Raw, aren't they? I believe.
Yep.
Even though Crown Jewel, someone say, not particularly important, it wouldn't matter if their first loss was there. I think I agree with Glenn and Vicky there. I'm going to go with the Viking Raiders. And Geeky Heathen says he only mentioned them because you like the name anything Viking gets my approval. I didn't realise you've been a heathen. Yeah. So Glenn wasn't being kind of really sort of knowledgeable and tactical there. He was just picking the name out because he likes Vikings. Right?
Yeah.
It's as good a reason as any to pick one. So well done, Glenn. Thank you for that. Right, so once again, we will have to find out from Jason privately what he thinks, who he thinks will win this match tomorrow. The next match that we can take a look at.
The next match I've got written down is Mansoor, is it? Versus Cesaro.
Mansoor versus Cesaro. Singles match. Mansoor's getting his kind of biannual match in WWE. It's just someone who, like, you only see him in Saudi Arabia, don't you? And he's the one who won the that massive battle royal from Super Showdown, weren't he?
Yeah.
That one that was I just thought there's way too many people in the ring. There's like 50 odd blokes there, and it's Rach, what have you got to say about Mansoor versus Cesaro?
To be honest, like you say, you only see him in Saudi Arabia. I don't know too much about him because I haven't seen him on Raw or SmackDown or NXT or 205 Live. I'm
trying to think he was even ever been on NXT. If he has, it would have been very briefly, ages ago. Not recently. I've got a feeling he may have been on an episode of NXT or a couple of episodes like a year ago or something, but I couldn't swear to that at all. It's only really Super Showdown and whatever else that the Arabic stuff that I know him from, really.
Yeah, and Cesaro, we haven't seen much of him about. Well, I know he's been injured, and I know they haven't done anything with him since Sheamus hasn't been around. So I'm gonna say Cesaro.
Right, okay. Cesaro win, says Rach Kappa. Vicky, Mansoor versus Cesaro. What do you reckon?
Well, Mansoor, like you said, I haven't really paid attention to him, to be honest, because, like you say, he only shows up.
It'd be difficult to, won't it? It's like you only see, like, I don't know. It's like going to the dentist. You see him twice a year.
He's like the Undertaker. He shows up for every WrestleMania and then disappears again. But Cesaro's been injured, and so was Sheamus. And Sheamus has been off doing his YouTube thing. So I'm gonna have to agree with Rach on this one, and I'm gonna have to say Cesaro because now that he's back, he's gonna probably be what he was when he first came in, like the bad guy again, the heel. So I think they're gonna use him that way, especially with this whole Ric Flair Hulk Hogan thing going on. I'm gonna say Cesaro.
2 for Cesaro, right? Yeah, I mean, I've talked about how we don't see Mansoor anywhere outside of Saudi Arabia. So, he's like the sort of the home guy for, the big, national baby face for this country, for this pay-per-view. So as for Cesaro, I like Cesaro, always have done. Still think that match he had, that kind of it wasn't impromptu, but it was kind of unadvertised match he had at the UK takeover in Cardiff with Ilya Dragunov. That was marvelous. I really enjoyed that, and it makes me want Cesaro to go to NXT or NXT UK as well. I mean, I would love to see Volta versus Cesaro for the UK champ.
That would be cool.
Yeah, but, Cesaro is being kept sort of. Is he on Raw or SmackDown now? I'm not certain since the draft. He'll be on one or the other.
It was Raw. He was on.
Yeah, I knew he was on Raw. I assumed it was still Raw. But somewhere like NXT or NXT UK, I think would suit Cesaro. I think they'll make him feel like a massive star the instant he gets there.
Yeah.
And I think. I don't know. In a way, I kind of wish that Cesaro had got Finn Balor's spot in NXT because, as we know, and maybe we perhaps should have talked a little bit about it at the start of the show, but we can sort of digress and talk about it a little bit now if we want. Finn Balor's return to NXT, I get it because he was just wasted on Raw and/or SmackDown, and the heel turn. God, that's something. I mean, Rach, you're a big Finn Balor fan. I bet that one took you by surprise, didn't it?
It did take me by surprise because it reminded me of how he was when he was in New Japan, Prince Devitt, and so I think that's the sort of character he's going to be in NXT now. The Prince Devitt side of him when he was in New Japan.
Yeah.
When he was in the Bullet Club, he was the big heel then.
Yeah, because I'm not as familiar with him. I'm not particularly familiar with him as a heel at all. Because I've only really followed his career since he came to WWE, as in NXT, and he's been a babyface throughout. So I've seen sort of little bits and clips of him in Japan when he's been a heel. But for me, it's all kind of it's new, and it's going to be an interesting direction. But I don't know. I just feel that sort of spot. I mean, there's no reason why they can't bring more people across to NXT from Raw and SmackDown, be it soon or in the future. I just feel that sort of gig really would have suited Cesaro right about now because he is someone else who's really just getting wasted on Raw, but he can have a fantastic match with most people. And like I said, I keep going on about it, and I mentioned it in the previous stream. I loved his match at TakeOver Cardiff, and the crowd was so hot for it as well. And this was a match I don't even think it had been advertised. I know Cesaro had been advertised as being at the show, but like it wasn't. They didn't say, "Oh, he's definitely going to have a match."
Yeah.
And have you got anything to say about the Finn Balor situation, Vicky, before I make my prediction?
I can't say as I didn't see it coming. I mean, they got way too much talent wasted on both shows, and even it was in the news recently that SmackDown, which I loved because Raw was suffering, SmackDown was in low ratings this time. So. Excuse me. So I can't say as I'm surprised that Finn's back down at NXT. And now that 205 Live, like I said before, is being shut down as well, they've got all this talent, and there's not enough hours in the day to put all these guys on because they've got all this drama going on that we weren't used to back. I know you guys might remember back in the day that it was a short little promo and you're out there wrestling. And it was more about the wrestling than about all this stupid drama. And I think that's how a lot of this talent's getting wasted. And as for Finn Balor with the heel turn, I can't say as I'm surprised about that either, because I think they need to do something new with him to kind of bring it back,
Yeah,
and then
yeah, with him,
represent him.
yeah, with him now being back in NXT,
Yeah.
they needed to sort of shake things up a bit with him, just so that it doesn't feel like a demotion. Really, I think it's like, oh well, yeah, he's back at NXT, which might look to some people as a demotion. To me personally, I would, if I was a professional wrestler employed by WWE, I would much rather be on NXT if I was in America, that is, or NXT UK if I was, living in Europe, than I would Raw or SmackDown. So for me, it's not a demotion, but it will look like that to a lot of people. And I think sort of turning Finn Balor heel, it did surprise me, but it was, I thought at first I've done this for like sort of, as like a moment, as like a bit of a kind of let's try and spike the rate going head to head with AEW. But no,
Well,
I totally see what you're saying. It's given this new aspect to Finn Balor's character. Yeah, absolutely.
I don't want to say as much about like how you said, like, I wouldn't to them look at it as a demotion either, because I mean, if you think about it, like you just said, like NXT is doing so much better than Raw and SmackDown put together that I consider it way better for them.
But the thing that's going to make NXT suffer ultimately is just the decision to go head to head with Dynamite, because they've not. I know it's still early days. It's only been like there's been 3 or 4 weeks of Dynamite. Yeah, and NXT's not won a single week, victory in the sort of Wednesday night wars yet.
That's true.
And, I mean, hopefully that. I don't want NXT. So NXT is still my favorite brand of wrestling. I've been enjoying AEW. I think I generally do still enjoy the weekly NXT show a little bit more than Dynamite. Generally, or I think they're both great. It's not like it's sort of a case of Dynamite versus Raw, or like on a Monday and like, oh well, you can miss Raw because that's been crap. Or even Dynamite versus SmackDown. It seems a shame that WWE's strongest brand for actual wrestling is the one that's going to kind of look like it's getting its arse kicked every week.
Exactly.
And I wondered, when they turned Finn Balor heel, or is this like, kind of a ratings ploy sort of? I mean, it's probably partly that, a little bit, but I think it's mainly like what you say, it's just giving this character a different direction to go in for the future. And I'm very intrigued to see, to see what happens on this week's NXT. See if Finn Balor, comes out and does a promo explaining anything. It's certainly got me intrigued. I'm just, I suppose, talking about the Wednesday night wars is kind of a slightly separate issue, but it all sort of ties in together. Anyway, Mansoor versus Cesaro. I still haven't made that prediction. I'm predicting Mansoor. I think the hometown hero, or the home country hero, is going to get a win. Probably doesn't deserve it because he's kind of not got anywhere near the level of experience of Cesaro, and I'm a big fan of Cesaro, and I think he's been wasted in situations such as this, and such as when he's just on Raw not doing anything, and he needs to be in NXT or in NXT UK. But I'm predicting Mansoor to get the win. The next match. Are we going to do? Shall we do the women's match now, Rach?
Yeah.
Yep. I know. I usually leave it up to you, but we did say we'd save sort of the bigger matches towards the end, and I think the women's match is like the last match that you could sort of say, well, that's not massively big. So yeah, the first ever women's match in Saudi Arabia. History will be made tomorrow. For me, it's not particularly exciting. It's not a title match. It's not a match between sort of two massive names, but it is continuing a feud that's gone on for quite a while now. It is Natalya against Lacey Evans. Rach, who have you got in this one?
I still don't like Lacey. I still think I still don't think she's quite there yet. I just think
Little
she's
bit
still
green
getting
around the gills, isn't she? Yeah.
all these opportunities and doesn't seem to be doing anything with them. Like she was in a match against um who was she in the match against the women's match? Last women's match she had.
Was
Oh Lord.
I can't remember.
Yeah.
Well,
Right.
I think
I
it was
remember
the championship. I think it was against Becky and Seth, weren't it?
Possibly, yeah.
Yeah. Well, they get these opportunities. She keep giving them opportunities and not doing anything with them.
Mm.
So, as for this match, I think she this match needs to be the decider to this rivalry because it's gone on far too long. That and I hope Natty wins. Natalia wins it.
So your prediction is Natalia then?
Yeah.
Okay. We just before I go to Vicky, Project Pops has just come in. Hi, Kyle. Thank you for coming in. Another member of the Squad of Champions. Always great to see you. Oh, and speaking of Squad of Champions members, Leroy has just come in. Project Pop says, "Hey guys, I'm at work right now and definitely wanted to come and say hi. Thank you so much, buddy. Much appreciated. Hello to Frampton himself, Leroy Screwballs. Great to see Geeky Heathen, Leroy, Project Pops in here. Great to see some familiar faces. Thank you all for showing your support. As you can see, though, we do not have any Jason Clow tonight, but I'm sure he will be back for our next live wrestling stream, which will be for Survivor Series. It should be, won't it?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Night Owl, Victoria, what do you think of Natalia and Lacey Evans?
I kind of have to agree with Rach about the whole Lacey Evans things. I mean, she came out strong, coming out every week, walking around with her little hanky and doing whatever she does. She presented so well. So seeing her come in and not do anything with the opportunities that she's been given and stuff like that, to me, it's like you said, wasted. But this whole thing with Natalia and whatever, I think this kind of to me needs to end. But Natalia, I mean, she is a super good talent as well, that to me is kind of also being wasted. Like her talent, she's got such great talent. Being one of the oldest women on the roster. So
Yeah.
yeah, Leroy, that's my job. No.
I just think it was later.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna say, like, I really hope that, like, I really want to go with Lacey on this one. I really do, because I really want to see her be promoted and pushed a bit more. But I'm gonna have to go with Natalia, just based on pure talent and pure raw knowledge of the way everything works compared to Lacey.
Yeah, she's a veteran. Yeah.
Yeah.
And like Lacey, I don't think it's quite, she's quite there yet. I think her call up was maybe a little bit early. I get why she was called up, She's tall and blonde, so Vince McMahon's got. Well, we won't go too much into the seedy mind of Vincent McMahon, but there we are. Yeah, Natalia versus Lacey, first ever women's match in Saudi Arabia. I'm a little bit intrigued as to, because given how conservative, if conservative's the right word, the things are in Saudi Arabia still. It's going to be interesting to sort of see. Like, I think it's Lacey maybe going to have to sort of wrestle in different gear, because her wrestling apparel is quite sort of, I wouldn't say it's sort of like ultra revealing. It's not like how it used to be 20 years ago, where you get the cat showing her puppies and all that sort of thing. There's quite a sexual element to Lacey Evans' character, isn't there? And I'm just wondering if they might have to tone that down. I think Natalia will be all right because like she tends to wrestle in sort of like a all over body suit anyway. You know, she's not showing a great amount of flesh compared to maybe some of the other women. So it'll be interesting to see.
Jimmy, look what Glenn put.
Who put? Sorry.
Look what Glenn and Leroy put in.
Is that somewhere else? Because I can't really. Yeah, I'm just focusing on the actual chat, in the actual screen chat rather than
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Anyway.
Oh no, the chat was taking ages to load to load up. I can see it now. Yeah, Glenn says he can't stop picturing Rach Powell joining wrestling bondage gear now. Oh God. Okay.
The stream's going to take a turn.
You could have filled in for Jason on the panel tonight. Actually, I'm always willing to consider a one-off replacement, but unfortunately, Leroy, what you know about wrestling, I could write on the back of a postage stamp. So, but it would have been nice for you to be Jason's replacement for you, if nothing else. So yeah, I've got to pick a way. I'm going with Natalia on this. I don't care about the match. It's historical and it's good that two women are actually getting a match in Saudi Arabia. But I don't care about this feud. I have no interest in seeing another match between them, particularly. So I'm going to go with Natalia on this one. I think that's the consensus between us three. Right, Rachel, what's the next match you want us to look at? Because I think we're coming towards more sort of the big, the marquee matches now, aren't we?
Yeah, either the Team Flair versus Team Hogan or Braun Strowman versus Tyson Fury.
Yeah, let's look at Strowman versus Fury. Right, so yeah, this is. Yeah, I really don't know how to feel about this one at all. Strowman versus the linear heavyweight boxing champion of the world, and I don't know what that means. So I'm quoting what I keep hearing the commentators and people say. Tyson Fury, Manchester's own Tyson. He's from Manchester, isn't he? He's from this country somewhere. Manchester, ringing a bell.
Yeah, I think so.
So, yeah, Braun Strowman versus Tyson Fury. Just before I go to Rage, I just saw that Leroy. I'm not gonna read that out. Yeah, Tyson Fury is a boxer, Leroy. Yep. So you do know something, surprisingly. Oh, and Tart is in as well. We're getting a lot of the squad members popping in tonight. It's great. Thank you for coming in, Lee Teasdale, the Pop Tart. Rach, Strowman versus Fury. Let's talk about that if we that's it.
Now, like it's a bit like this. Do you remember the Brawl for All match, which ended up with a wrestler versus Butterbeer? Butterbeer.
Sorry, it'd be a great name for like a sort of Harry Potter / boxing kind of gimmick for someone, isn't it? Like sort of like a magical boxing wrestler. Oh look, Butterbeer. Sorry,
I knew what I meant. Butterbean. Butterbean.
You've got Harry Potter on the brain, mate. But about that tickled me, really. Sorry, Ray, carry on.
Oh dear. And it was like he got knocked out in like the first round or something.
Mm.
Now,
yeah,
is this going to be the same sort of thing?
I know. I think this is a worked match. It's not like a sort of shoot fight like how Bart Gunn versus Butterbean and the Brawl for All tournament was. Leroy says he likes Tyson Fury. He makes me laugh and wears funny suits. Okay, right. Tyson Fury, the Butterbean world champ. Yeah.
Oh gosh.
And Geeky's saying he was about to go. That was hilarious, and to see us all later. Thank you, Glenn. Thank you for coming in, mate. It's not going to be it's not a shoot fight. It's not a real match, as in proper. As far as I know, unless they change them, they decide to do something like that at the last minute. But as far as I can make out, it's just a general, worked, predetermined wrestling match between Strowman and I nearly said Butterbean then, and it's not, but it's bloody Tyson Fury. Okay. Right. So yeah, Rach, carry
on. Do we expect Ray to get involved, or is that a different? Or am I thinking of a different?
Yeah, I think you're thinking of Lesnar versus.
Yeah, I'm confusing the two people, aren't I?
Yeah, because both these matches were announced at the same time, more or less, and there's sort of parallels with Velasquez. He has got wrestling experience, as far as I know. Tyson Fury hasn't. It's just like I can make some money by being at Crown Jewel sort of thing in Fury's case. Yeah, Frampton, I don't like Tyson Fury. He said some weird things in public as well, which I've not really been very fond of. And your money's on Hagrid. Good. Right, Ray, so let's make our prediction between Tyson Fury and Braun Strowman.
I'm going to say Braun Strowman.
Braun Strowman, right, okay. Vicky, what do you reckon to Strowman versus Fury?
Well, Rach is never going to live this down. I can just say that. Anyways,
I knew what I meant, though.
I know.
I knew what you meant. It was so funny when you said Butterbean. I just,
they bring in guys all the time. Kevin Federline. They bring in just unknowns all the time, just to boost ratings, because they want to bring in the boxing field and mix it with, the wrestling field and stuff like that. I think Tyson's going to give Strowman a run for his money, but I don't think this match is going to be one of those ones where, Tyson's going to win and then all of a sudden he takes over wrestling, because it's not going to happen. He's not going to leave boxing, nothing like that. So I think for me, I'm going to predict Strowman, basically just because it's a promotional match. This has obviously been in the works for a while. They've been training Tyson in the ways of wrestling and everything else, so you can just see it. It's been in the works. So I'm gonna go with Strowman.
Right, okay, 2 for Strowman. I've got nothing to really say about this match. It's like theoretically, it should be like quite a big deal with Tyson Fury being, a big world champion in boxing. It's out of the more bigger matches on this card, I would say it's, one that is, not particularly exciting to me. I think really it's the 2 world title matches that I'm most intrigued by, but we'll get onto them shortly. Pop Tart's got to go. Just wanted to show support. Thank you so much, Tarty. Really appreciate it, my friend. So, Tyson Fury is probably getting paid a fortune just for this. Whether they'll bring him back for a big event, Mania, or possibly the next Saudi show. Money talks, doesn't it? Yeah. I don't follow boxing, but I've kind of seen Tyson Fury. He's said some sort of rather unpleasant things in the past, but I'm all about second chances. I think him being on a pay-per-view in a WWE pay-per-view in Saudi Arabia is not exactly going to endear him to many more people, but there we are. Now, if Braun Strowman had been pushed properly over the last year and a half, I would say, yeah, Braun Strowman to win. But I think the magic's kind of gone with Strowman for me. It had done for a long time there. I'm going to say I've got no real sort of pick, as in who I want to win in this, but who I think will win. I think it's going to be Tyson Fury, a worked knockout punch or something like that. I don't know. It could be a real car crash, this match. So let's be honest. It's probably going to be watchable for all the wrong reasons, I think.
Yeah.
Thank you for still being here, Leroy. Appreciate that, mate. So yeah, I'm picking Tyson Fury. I don't like the guy. You can tell what an absolute rascal he is because he's got Leroy Screwball seal of approval. So I think for me, that's the perfect klaxon to steer clear. If he gets Leroy's thumbs up, then yeah. But I will pick him for the win, Frampton. So there we are. Right. So shall we do the 5-on-5 tag match next, Rach?
Yeah.
Okay, so the next match for Crown Jewel is Team Hogan versus Team Flair. And the members of Team Hogan are Reigns, Rusev, Ricochet, Shorty G, aka Chad Gable, and Ali versus Randy Orton, King Corbin, Bobby Lashley, Shinsuke Nakamura, and Drew McIntyre. And of course, these two teams are captained by the Spring Chickens, Hulk Hogan and Ric Flair. So yeah, this like the first match that had been announced for Crown Jewel. It feels like this one's been announced quite a while. They've just been sort of slow
Yeah, I
at
think it was the first one.
adding team members in. So yeah, Rach, Team Hogan, Team Flair. I don't think this is going to be the main event. This feels like something that might be in like the middle of the card somewhere to me. But it's a big match simply because they've sort of dragged Hogan and Flair out to Saudi Arabia to captain the team, whatever that entails. So.
It's Rusev's in this one, isn't it?
Yeah, Rusev is on Team Hogan. Yeah.
Well, I'm just wondering, will he still be distracted? Because Bobby Lashley, we know Bobby. I don't know if Lana's in Saudi Arabia. Might not be. But with everything going on with Rusev, he's probably going to go straight after Bobby Lashley.
Yeah, Lashley's on Team Flair. Yeah.
And I don't even know why they're calling Chad Gable Shorty
Gable.
Shorty C. Why?
Yeah.
He's one of the shortest guys in WWE right now, besides Rey Mysterio.
He's still taller than Jason, though, so we can't laugh at him that much in comparison to Not Suitable for Mum. Damn it, Jason, here to listen to that great insult.
He thinks that Ali is Muhammad Ali.
Almost. He was called Mustafa Ali, so it's very, very close, but not. It's not Muhammad. Muhammad Ali has appeared on wrestling shows. He was at the first WrestleMania, weren't he? I think he was at WCW Bash at the Beach '94 as well. Yeah. So Ali, and then of course, most famously, Muhammad Ali had that awful. And I've only seen bits of it. It was so boring. I couldn't sit through it all. That awful worked match that turned into a shoot between him and Antonio Inoki from the I think that was late '70s, I think. And I've seen bits of that, and it was just garbage. Anyway, yeah, Rach, 2000 Team Flair. Who we got?
Do you know what? I'm going to go with Hogan. Team Hogan.
Team Hogan, right. Vicky, Hogan's team versus Flair's team. What do you reckon?
As much as I love Hulk Hogan, and for some odd reason have almost kind of loathed Ric Flair over the years. I don't know why. I just never really liked the guy. Just he's a great wrestler, don't get me wrong. I mean, whatever, but he was always bloody at the end of every match. So it was like, for me, it's just like whatever. I do have to say, however, Ric Flair has got a pretty strong team compared to the up and comers and beginners that Hogan has on his team. So I don't know. It's a tough call for me, but I kind of want to say Ric Flair's team.
Right. Okay.
So yeah.
So we've got one for Team Hogan and one for Team Flair. Yeah, this match it's not ultimately important. Yeah, there's sort of separate storylines tying in amongst the competitors. You know, we've got the whole Rusev and Lashley thing, which we won't go into that because it's pretty much all a load of bollocks. I think for something like this, it's a case of like making the crowd happy, and I think a Team Hogan victory is, to me, it seems a no-brainer. Really, I think this needs to be a babyface win. I don't think it's an elimination match either, which is probably for the best because it would just this card looks like it's going to be quite a long one as it is. I don't think Hogan and Flair are particularly going to do anything physical. I'm not sure they're even capable of doing anything physical anymore. They're just going to be sort of managing or coaching or whatever it is or captaining on the outside. We might get like a bit of a face-off between them. It's in 2019, you don't really want to see it. There we are. But I think this is an easy babyface win. I think, especially when you've got Roman Reigns on Team Hogan as well. He's like the one guy from Team Hogan with that kind of main event cachet, really. So yeah, I'm going with Hulk Hogan's team for this one. So, Rach, which of the two world title matches shall we discuss? Shall we discuss now?
Shall we do the Brock Lesnar one?
Yeah, I'm happy to do that. So, yeah, originally this match, it didn't look like it was going to be for the title, but then it was announced that it was. But in his debut WWE match, Cain Velasquez is challenging Brock Lesnar for the World Wrestling Entertainment World Heavyweight Championship of the World. That's the full name of it. It's not really. I'm fairly intrigued by this. I've not seen Cain Velasquez wrestle, but he has had matches in Mexico. I'm not sure he's had any in America. He still won't have had any in the USA because this is in Saudi Arabia. But yeah, he surprised a lot of people in Mexico fairly recently. WWE have signed him. It sounds like it's a long-term thing as well. Yeah, I don't know. I'm quite looking forward to this one. But what do you think, Rach?
Like you, I've never seen this man wrestle.
I've seen him fight. I've seen him in a couple of UFC events. In fact, I do believe I saw the one where he actually beat Lesnar for the UFC heavyweight title. God, that was was that getting off 10 years ago? Quite a long time ago. But yeah.
I'm intrigued with this match. I will say that. Even though I'm not a Brock Lesnar fan, but I am actually intrigued to see how this match goes. As who I think will win it, I can't see him taking the title off Brock. Yeah, I don't think they're going to take the title off Brock, so I'm going to say Brock will retain.
Okay. Brock to retain his championship. Vicky, what do you reckon to Lesnar versus Velasquez?
I gotta agree with Rach on this one. I'm really intrigued to see what happens in this match because Cain Velasquez is quite the UFC fighter. I would not want to meet that guy in a dark alley. I'll tell you, neither one of them really, but Kane scares the crap out of me. That look on his face and everything else, you know. But Brock, I mean, they're both pretty freaking scary. So, I'm gonna have to say that Brock retains, but I am gonna say that Kane's gonna win by disqualification or something because just the way things have been going and stuff like that, watching Raw and everything else, watching all the altercations between the three of them, and then Brock attacking him just this past week. I'm really excited to see what happens in this match. But yeah, I'm gonna pick Kane for the win, but I'm gonna say by DQ.
Right. Well, yeah. So, well, I mean, we don't tend to specify sort of DQ count out wins and stuff when we do the predictions, but so if I will have to take it as you predicting Kane Velasquez to win. But yeah, but that's fine that you added the caveat via DQ. You don't think he's going to win the title, but that will be officially for our records. That's picking Kane Velasquez. So we've got one for Brock.
I'm just calling him Kane because I can't spell his surname.
That's fine. That's fine. So yeah, like I said, I quite looking forward to seeing this. From what I've read, I think the way WWE have sort of been wanting Kane Velasquez to work is in this kind of sort of shoot style, and with him having to pull his punches as wrestlers tend to have to do. Apparently, is been kind of is sort of on the Shane McMahon level of really weak looking fake punches at the moment. But hopefully, that's something that he'll improve on. But apparently, when it comes to like sort of a lot of the Mexican luchador stuff, Velasquez was a revelation in his first match or couple of matches in Mexico. So if they allow him to sort of wrestle in more that sort of style, it could make for an interesting match. Here's another one. It could well be a car crash. It depends how it's booked and everything. I think with Cain Velasquez he seems to be tied down to a long-term WWE deal, whereas someone like Tyson Fury, this seems to be like a one-shot deal for him. Then I think if Cain Velasquez doesn't win, then I don't think it matters too much because he's going to be involved in story. He may get a rematch with Lesnar at some point down the line. It'd be, I don't know, I wouldn't like to think of them putting the WWE Championship on someone in their very first match with the company. That just seems wrong to me. But I wouldn't put it past them.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to happen. I think somehow Brock's going to walk out with the belt. I'm not going to say Kane to win via DQ. I'm not going to parrot Vicky, even though I think that's quite a likely scenario. I will say that by some means Brock will win and retain, but there's going to be some sort of shenanigans in it, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So we have 2 for Brock and 1 for Cain Velasquez, but we all seem to be of the mindset that Cain Velasquez will not be WWE champion coming out of Crown Jewel tomorrow. Yeah. I think we've only got one more match to go, haven't we, Rach?
Yeah, and that's the Universal Championship which is a full count anywhere match between Seth Rollins versus The Fiend.
Right. So, don't know whether this will be the main event or Lesnar versus Velasquez. I'll be interested to see the running order for this card tomorrow. But yeah, it's the Hell in a Cell rematch. This one is full count anyway. It's for the Universal Championship. It's Seth Rollins defending against the Fiend Bray Wyatt. Yeah, we did talk about the Hell in a Cell finish at the top of the show. Awful stuff, really, really crappy booking. I still don't like the Fiend being in these world title, universal title matches. I think that's the sort of character you don't even need to put a title on him, really. But I've said this before. Yeah. So, Rach, who have you got for this one?
Like you said, I don't think they need to put a title on him. I think Bray, as a character himself, is very can get over with the crowd, whether he's the Fiend or with Firefly Bray Wyatt.
Yeah.
As for this match, so it's Falls Count anyway, which means anything goes really. Will we see him? Will we see Seth do what he did to Rowan by that screwy pin under a forklift?
Yeah.
I can see it being just a rehash of that.
Yeah. But as for this match, I don't think they're going to take the title off Seth. I don't. Though Bray is a really good wrestler, so that's not. I'm not saying that he isn't there yet in wrestling wise. I still think this is a relatively new character for them to put a title on him.
Yeah, it's just way too soon. If they should do it at all for me.
Yeah. So I'm going to say Seth retains.
Okay.
Probably with the help of a forklift.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I think, the fact that it's Falls Count anywhere, and they've said, this match can't be stopped at all, that means that, there's going to be some sort of, major league, not weaponry, but, there's going to be some sort of forklift type thing that's going to enable Rollins to. Anyway, there's not my turn for a prediction yet, but I nearly made my prediction. But Vicky, we'll go to your prediction first, and then I'll do mine.
Hey, if you want to go out of order, Jimmy, it's not my.
No, it's now ladies first. Ladies first. Someone's got to teach Leroy Screwballs the right way, the right sort of manners and respect. Really, no one else will do it for him.
Well, the fact that Abigail puts up with him, yeah, I agree. So anyway, I love that girl. Anyway, yeah, you know what? This match, I mean, I could see Seth winning, so I'm going to predict Seth is going to win. But I just want to say this: I think we've needed a creepy ass character for quite some time now. And Bray has always been that creep factor that wrestling is needed. I could see coming in the long run, the Boogeyman versus the Fiend. That would be the match that I would love to see. You know what I mean? Because the Boogeyman, he just disgusts me. Yeah, no, I think that this is going to end really well, but I'm glad that they're kind of making it that nothing can stop it. Falls count everywhere and everything else, but yeah, I'm just gonna say Seth, because I don't think, I agree with you there, Jimmy. I don't think that they're gonna give the Fiend a belt.
Well, no, but they shouldn't. They shouldn't have him in these title matches, especially not so soon. I mean, he had one his sort of comeback. Well, if you can call it a cut, it's like a comeback, but it's also the debut of his, him in his new gimmick, really, with the Fiend versus Finn Balor. And they could have done anything different with the Fiend and really built him up as this kind of new, like Undertaker for the new millennium kind of, invincible monster kind of thing. And but they just decided to just sort of, hot shot everything and just put him straight into a universal title match program with Seth Rollins. Hello, Darren Izzard. Welcome. Why does the name Darren Izzard ring a bell? I know you from somewhere, Darren. Sorry, this is probably impolite. You there say, "Oh, you don't know me." Well, but I feel like I should know you. Yeah. Anyway, I'm predicting Seth for this. I think you've got it spot on, Rach. There's going to be some sort of assisted pinfall that theoretically won't harm the Fiend too. Although really, like Hell in a Cell did, it did harm to Rollins. It did harm to the Fiend. That was just a harmful way of booking a match. That it was rubber pathetic, really. doesn't need a belt, but putting him in those matches hurts credibility. Exactly, yeah. Thank you, Darren. That is, yeah, you said it much better than I could tonight. That's for sure. It's Eddie's day. It's Eddie Izzard's day. Okay, thank you for coming in. Give my love to your son, the renowned comedian Eddie Izzard. So yeah, we've all gone for. We don't know what Jason's going to pick for any of these. We will find out tomorrow, and then we will do the recap of the scores and everything next month at the Survivor Series panel show. So unless either of you two have got anything you want to mention or talk about, Rach, then that's probably going to be it, I think. Anything you want to say, either of you?
There was I'm just wondering if it's a coincidence that this is now a Falls Count Anywhere match, because AEW did one on this past Tuesday on AEW Dark, which was a triple threat for Falls Count Anywhere match between Havoc, Allen, and
I doubt they probably intended this to be Falls Count Anywhere. Way back when. I don't think sort of paying a lot of attention to what goes on AEW Dark. I mean, that's something I still haven't watched it because there's just too much else going on wrestling wise. I've been enjoying NWA Power. That I've not seen the new episode of that. That would have come on YouTube at some point yesterday evening, and I've just not had the time to. So I don't know if I'm going to be able to see that every week, but I try and watch Dynamite every week, try and watch NXT every week. NXT UK, I try and see that every week, but I probably will have to miss that tomorrow. Because I think that'll be on right before Crown Jewel, I think. That's they've had to move it to 4 o'clock in the afternoon UK time.
Yeah.
Darren says he wish he would wear the skirts, but what can you do? Oh, you wish you wouldn't wear. Okay, right. Yeah. There we go. That's you're gonna have to take that up with your son, Eddie. On that note, I think this is probably a good time to end. So I want to thank my co-panelists, Rach Kappa and the Night Owl. Thank you, ladies, for joining me again. Great to have you back, Vicky and Rach. Your input is always appreciated.
Well, thanks for having me. I'm glad to be back. I'm glad I'm feeling better. I'm good to see you guys because I missed you. But yeah, it's been great.
Yep.
Yeah.
Hopefully we might have a full. Sorry, Rach.
Thanks for having me.
Oh yeah, you're welcome, Rach. Anytime. Hopefully we'll have a full 4-person panel for Survivor Series, but if not, then we'll just do it like we've been doing it. I think the last full panel we had was probably like the last time we went on Hangouts, probably, weren't it?
Yeah.
Because we had to miss SummerSlam because I'd not familiarised myself with StreamYard, and then we restarted for the event that came after SummerSlam, which escapes me now. But yeah, was it Night of Champions or?
I think so.
Yeah,
Clash of Champions.
Yeah, Clash of Champions. Sorry. And then Vicky had to miss that one, and also the Hell in a Cell one. And then obviously Jason has had to miss this one. But I'm sure it'd be nice if we could get the full panel back at least once, if not twice, because I think we've only got 2 more pay-per-views for this year after Crown Jewel, haven't we? Survivor Series and TLC, unless they announce some sort of massive show, sort of, between now and December. But I don't think they will. I'm not counting that bloody Starcade because that tends to be like a glorified house. I don't think that's worth sort of, bothering with. And I used to love Starcade, a big WCW fan right here. I used to think Starcade was a very special time of the wrestling year, but it's not anymore. Anyway, thank you all for watching. Thank you to everyone who came in and entertained us in the chat. I appreciate that. It's great to see a lot of familiar faces come in. Thank you for coming in, Darren, Leroy. Anyone else who might be watching on replay, we appreciate it. Please do join us again next month, whatever date it'll be in about 3 or 4 weeks for Survivor Series for that preview. and we will see you all next time. Thank you all, everybody. See ya.